Okay. So first of all, thank you very much for coming to today's Sanskrit class. And today is our 12th Sanskrit class. This is actually our first class in July. We have already done quite a lot. It's already about today's. I think we started from the end of February, and now it's already the beginning of July. And thank you very much for your how do you say that? For your consistent support and interest. Okay. And as I explained, today is about Sanskrit, Aorist. So for the grammar, we first talk about Sanskrit Aorist. And then we will compare Sanskrit. We'll compare Sanskrit with Greek, and also with, for example, Latin, and sometimes probably Tocharian, if we have enough time, yeah. And then the second part, we're going to read Rigveda, and as I have shown you here, we have the text here, but today I will try to finally try to have a look at the Russian translation. Okay, yeah. Okay, so for the Aorist, I think you, those of you who have already participated in the Sanskrit class by Mr. Zhao have at least some basic idea of Aorist, right? So actually in Sanskrit, we have present, of course, and then we have Aorist, and also we have perfect. So this is in Sanskrit, right? And from present, you can build perfect, right? Yes, this is basically the three most important tenses. But pay attention, perfect is actually not a real tense, yeah. Not real tense, yeah. It describes actually some state or resultative. Resultative, I think it's resultative, yeah. Okay. Yes. And then for the Aorist, I think you already know the difference between present and Aorist. So they are different. Versus Aorist. So they are different with respect to aspect, right? So this is what we have already talked about during the Latin class. Yeah. Yes, I think you know that. So based on this difference aspect, and we have in a lot of Indo-European languages the phenomenon called subletion. And this is what I suppose you all know, yeah. Okay, so today we concentrate on Aorist. So for the Sanskrit grammar, we first check the grammar by Gotor. So you find it here. So the Aorist stems, so you are inflected in indicative, injunctive, subjunctive, optative, imperative, and form the participle theoretically or in both active and middle. Yeah. Okay. So for the Sanskrit, actually, we can reconstruct the Proto-Indo-European Aorist system, right? So I think we can first start from the PIE. That's probably clearer. So you have a basic idea of the system of Sanskrit aorist. So I make it a little bit. So the PIE system. So first we talk about the PIE aorist. So in the Proto-Indo-European, we can reconstruct the aorist. This is also attested, I think, in all the Indo-European languages, although they have different names sometimes. Yeah. Yes. So first one, we have a root aorist. So this is simplest. Yeah. I mean form, the simplest form. So you just put the root plus ending. This is pretty simple, and sometimes you need an augment. So you need an augment, and this augment really it's a yeah. In sense, sorry, in Proto-Indo-European, it's a. Yeah. Okay, and then the ending, you use secondary ending. Secondary ending, yeah. Okay, and so this is basically the root aorist. And the root aorist, if you want to build a root aorist, the root has the meaning. Okay, how can I put it? Okay, the meaning of the root. The meaning of the root is actually punctual. Yeah. This is also, I talk about this quite a few times. I assume that you all know this. And then we have a second one. So actually the root aorist is actually the most simple one. And you can see for the Proto-Indo-European, there are about 409 roots. And 265 are pretty sure, and the other 144 not so sure. But anyway, it is really productive. You can see 409 versus 177. Yeah. So this is the most popular, the most important aorist forms in Proto-Indo-European. And then the second one, it's a little bit complicated. So it's called s-Aorist. So s-Aorist is also called sigmatic aorist or sigmatic. Yeah. You can also call sigmatic aorist. Yeah. So it means that you have a s morpheme. So you have a s morpheme inside the stem. So if you want to build the stem from the root, you need to use a s morpheme. So morpheme means to, yeah, morpheme is morpheme. Yeah. So morpheme is the element that you can build a stem. This is called morpheme. Yeah. Okay, and then another point. So in order to build the s-Aorist, you need a you need a s, and then the root, and again the augment again. But the root, pay attention. It has a special upload, namely a and a. Long as a, long a and short a. So a, and then you put a s, and then you plus the ending. So this is a little bit special, especially this part. So I highlight it. So this is actually the Kennzeichen, or the characteristic, or the, and this you have the euro. So this upload is pretty common. You find it also in present, in a lot of present. Yeah, yeah. Okay. This is a s-Aorist, right? And then there's also a third one, namely the reduplicated and semantic aorist. And for this one, as you can see, you need a reduplication, and then you have the root, right? And then you plus a semantic vowel, and then you plus the ending. Yeah. So this is actually the kennzeichen. Kennzeichen marker. This is actually the kennzeichen of reduplicated semantic aorist. So you need a reduplication, and then you need a semantic vowel. Yeah. Yeah. But the semantic vowel, I write a here, but the semantic vowel has upload. So this is something you need to keep in mind. The semantic vowel, there's an upload. O and A, yeah. And I hope you already know the distribution of this semantic vowel, right? Okay, and then this root is in 0 grade. Yeah. So basically, you would not have 2 E grade. You won't have you won't have 2 4 grade inside a root. If you have a 4 grade semantic vowel, and then the root must be 0 grade. So this is so. But the reduplication is kind of independent from this one. Okay. Yeah, so, and you can see this one only have 18. And this one, s-Aorist, has 177. But this one has 409. So you can see this is pretty interesting. This is pretty, yes, morpheme is a German word. And in English, you just put an A after this, morpheme, I think. Yeah. Just think you can, yeah. In English, you just put an A after that. So it's pretty simple, yeah. Okay. Yes. Yes, so this is actually the element to build a specific form. Okay. Yes, so this is actually the Proto-Indo-European form. And then let's move on to the Sanskrit. So for the Sanskrit, there's also first a semantic root aorist. So this is actually the first one, the root aorist, and it is asematic. So you can see between root and ending, there is no vowel. There's no semantic vowel. So this is actually asematic, right? And then there are a lot of you can see star. You have R star. I have just settled myself, stood. So pay attention here. The translation of Goto is really precise and tells us the root star originally is not standing. It's not stand. So stand means consistently doing something. It means how many roots. So for the Indo-European, there are 409 roots with root aorist. It means that in the Proto-Indo-European language, we can reconstruct 409 roots with root aorist. And then this is the same. Okay. And then, as I mentioned, the verb star does not mean stand. It does not mean stand originally. It means actually you put you sich hinstellen. Yeah. So you kind of settle yourself in a specific place. This is in a specific location. Yeah. So I have just settled myself there. Yeah. So this is a punctual action, right? And then from this action and from this meaning comes the Euro meaning stand, right? Okay. And then you also have come here. Come has to come. Yeah. I have come and so on. Yeah. Okay. So this is basically the most important and simplest aorist form. It's too noisy. Okay, and then let's move on to the second one. The second one, you can see in Sanskrit, it's called semantic root aorist. So this is actually, how do you say that? A new creation in Sanskrit. So originally, the Indo-European language has only the root asymmetric. But in Sanskrit, there is another class with semantic vowel. And then we have examples like Veda, right? So the zero grade root like this, or R, and so on. And then you put a suffix, you put a semantic vowel after this root. Yeah. So for this one, you can see we have such form like vidam. I have just found out, gained. Yeah. Okay. And then this is injunctive. We don't need to talk about it today, but later in our later classes, we are going to talk about subjunctive, optative, and injunctive. Yeah, or injunctive. Yeah. This is very important in the in the Indo-European languages. Yeah. Okay. And then you also find other roots like taksh. Taksh means you made something. You cut something and then you made something. Yeah. Okay. So this is, and then you also have the form in Avestan. Sanskrit is called takshat. In Avestan is called tashat. Yeah. So this is, so I put it here. Put it here in Sanskrit. First, we have a root aorist, right? Asymmetric. And this comes directly from PIE, right? And then the second one, also root aorist, but semantic. And this is kind of a new, but you can figure it out. It's not that difficult to, how to say that, to make, right? So you put a semantic vowel. So like you have the root and then you plus a semantic vowel R. Yeah, so just looks like this. Yeah. And it is actually not that difficult to build because if you check, wait a minute. So probably we can have a look. So why do we have this new class? Why do we have this semantic root aorist? Let's check this form. I have gone, right? Or I have made, right? So let's check this form. So inside this class, root aorist asymmetric, we have gone, right? And how can we build the aorist? So for example, we have a gum, right? we need an R, right? And then we need a root, and then we plus the ending, right? So what is the ending for the first person singular? It is actually M, right? So it is actually M, right? So the ending is M. And then check it. How can we get this? If we have R gum yeah, and then it will become a sorry. It will become a and then it will change into this one. And usually M turns into R, but for this form, in order to make it, because if we have this one, it looks nothing, right? You won't, you can't see that it is a first person singular, right? So they just add the usual M. So M is really for the secondary first person singular, right? So they just use you just add a M to this form. Yeah. So this form you cannot have, you cannot see if it is a first person, right? So they put a M after this form and then to get this form. And then if we have this form, how can we analyze it? We can analyze it in this way, but we can also analyze it in this way, right? Okay, so this looks just like, how to say that? Just like a root plus a Semitic vowel R, right? So this is actually the origin of the second Semitic root aorist. So from something like this, yeah, okay. Is it 需要我再解释一遍，用中文再解释一遍吗？就在梵语当中，就是原始印欧语当中是非主题，就是没有插入元音的，就是非主题跟过去式，这是从原始印欧语来的。然后这个在梵语当中也是有的，比如说那个 R boot，right， 然后 R stum，right。但是呢，在梵语当中新构造出一类叫 Semitic root aorist。它是怎么来的呢？是一个 root， 还要再加上一个 Semitic vowel， like this one, you have vit and then you have a vidam, yeah, and then you have touch and you have a takshat, so on. 这怎么来的呢？它事实上是和上面这个有密切关系的。上面这个大家如果看第一人称单数的话，它事实上是这么构成的。第一人称单数构成的时候 ，m 它在末尾，它会变成一个元音，对不对？然后它单纯变成元音的时候，变成这样。然后呢，在梵语当中，它又额外的加上了一个 m， 然后表示它是第一人称。因为你单独的一个 r 是看不出来到底是什么人称的嘛，对吧？而且也没有这样的形式，所以他们就加上了一个 m 这样的一种构成方法。然后这个构成方法有这样的一个形式之后，你可以对它进行再分析嘛。那你对它进行再分析的时候，是不是就会出现有人会认为，哎，词根是 gum， 然后呢中间有一个 r， 然后后面又有一个 m， 这事实上就相当于一个词根再加上一个元音，对吧？然后这个主题，所以他们就构造出一个新的主题，跟过去式。I think it's clear, right? Okay. So this is actually the second class in Sanskrit, the Semitic root aorist. Okay. Okay, and then probably let's move on. And then the third one, in Sanskrit, we have a reduplicated aorist, right? So in Sanskrit, we have reduplicated aorist. So again, this comes from PIE. We have in PIE also. We have in PIE also the reduplicated aorist, but pay attention. The difference is in Proto-Indo-European, we have the reduplication syllable in a. Take a look. This is very important. We are going to mention this again in explaining other forms. So let's put it here. So this reduplication syllable is a. But in Sanskrit, the reduplication syllable can be different, right? You can see it is e or long e, short u or long u. So it can be e or u like this, yeah. And if you write this, yeah. 这个符号你们要看，可能会看过吧？就是这个表示可长可短。So this symbol means long or short. Okay, it's great. And then you have this form like G Janat, G Jananta, and the original present is called Janayati. Yeah. Okay, and then you have Krut, and you have Chu Krudam, right? Okay, there's probably something. This original means Krodiety, make angry, right? So why do we have this? So the original root means like get angry, right? And but Aorist is called Chu Kruda. So actually we have a palatalization here, right? So this is palata, right? The reason could be the palata is here. Yeah. Okay. So actually, the Proto-Indo-European form has air, and this air is actually a palata vowel. So this is probably the reason why we need a palata here. Okay. Okay. U is not palata sound, right? So U is no palata sound. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so this is actually the what do you say that? This is actually the reduplicated aorist in Sanskrit, and we also have like this R, G, Gar, and Ja, Jarayati, and means wake someone. Yeah, 就把某一个人叫醒。对。Okay, so this is reduplication. Okay, and then the reason why I have to mention this comes. So I have to highlight this. Oh, sorry. I have to highlight this. So this is actually so this is also so I put it here. So chi hu is Sanskrit innovation. Yeah, this is Sanskrit innovation. So this is new in Sanskrit, but originally we have a, right? Because it is exactly preserved in Sanskrit. But this looks a little bit unusual, right? So this is actually the root vach, or you find also in Sanskrit uch, means speak, right? So it means speak or say. Yeah, it's okay. And if you check the dictionary, the aorist is watch. Yeah. And then it looks really strange, right? So usually you probably could like babach, like something like that. So this is actually what you would, or vivach, yeah, something like that. This is something you would imagine or expect, right? But it is actually voch because it is exactly yeah, a voch, yeah, a voch, something like that, yeah. Yeah, a watch. Okay, and this is this actually inherited form. Inherited means that it is from Indo-European and Proto-Indo-European, because for this root, you need a reduplication, right? So the reduplication is where. So originally the root is called, if I put it here, where. So this is the original root called wekwe, right? And in order to build the root, in order to build the reduplicated aorist, check the formula. The formula here you have for the PIE aorist, right? You need a chair, and then you need a 0 grade, and then you need an air vowel, right? Okay, so then let's check it. How can we get this? So this is a full grade, right? So this is a full grade, and the 0 grade would be, the 0 grade would be you just delete the air, right? So the 0 grade would be work, right? Work, yeah, work, yeah. And then you reduplicate it, right? It should be where, right? And then, where and wekwa, right? Wekwa, and then you plus a. So this is actually the correct form, right? And how can we get, and then what is a result in Sanskrit? A plus a u, and then it is a u, right? Eu. And in Sanskrit, a, Proto-Indo-European a becomes r, so you get a ao, and ao, I think I have to keep this. So a becomes r, and u is like a ao, yeah, like this one, right? Yeah. And then this ao becomes o in Sanskrit. And this word is, you write in Sanskrit like word, right? And then in Sanskrit, there's also a sound change in Sanskrit. It becomes a k, yeah. Or I can write like this one, yeah. So big, so k stands for k and g, yeah. So this is actually a covering term. Okay, so gawa becomes a g and kawa becomes a k. So this is a result in Sanskrit. And then, so you have a k, right? And don't forget, this a becomes a r, but this a originally is a palatal sound. So it will palatalize this one, and then become r, right? And what is the result of a palatal k? It is actually ch. Yeah. So this is why we have vocha in Sanskrit, and then you can add a augment at the at the front. Yeah. So this is basically the process of avocha. So avocha is inherited. Yeah. So this is why you find it in Goto, says that avocha is inherited. And then we can compare actually the Greek material. The Greek, again, we use the same process, right? So this is actually PIE form. So this is actually PIE. So then then let's talk about Greek. So in Greek, there's a process. We have a word here, right? We actually have a word here, right? And this word will be dissimulated. So we need so we have a, So we have a dissimulation. So we have a dissimulation, and this word would become a year. Yeah. So this word would become a year. This is dissimulation. And then in Greek, kwa, usually kwa will become a t before a. But in some cases, for example, like or, and this kwa becomes a p. This is in Greek, so. And then the word at the beginning is lost. But sometimes you have a digamma, right? But it gets lost. And then you have the Greek form epe, like epe, like something like that. This is actually how we get the Greek form epe. Yeah. Okay, so this is the reduplicated aorist. The reduplicate, and then let's move on to the most complicated one, the sigmatic aorist. The sigmatic aorist in Sanskrit, this is fourth class, the sigmatic or s-Aorist. Yeah. In Sanskrit, we have several different classes. The first one is just a simple s-Aorist. The second one is is-Aorist or ish. Yeah. The palatalization is due to the Rookie rule. So this is sh because of Rookie rule. The Rookie rule means that if you have a e or a such vowel before a sibilant or before a velar, it will become a retroflex, 卷舌的。就是说，就像 s 这个音或者 k 这个音等等之类的，它如果前面有一个高一点的元音，它会变成一个卷舌音，大概类似这样的一个过程。就是这只是一个非常大概的说法，就是有非常详细的、细致的研究，就是具体在什么样的情况下会发生，然后什么情况下不会发生。And then this phenomena is not restricted to Sanskrit, but also we find this rookie phenomena in Russian. Like in other languages. Okay. And then we have in Sanskrit also sish. Yeah. And the fourth class is called sa. But we can keep in mind, this one is this is from PIE. And this is also from PIE, but for roots containing for roots with laryngeal. Yeah. Laryngeal. Yeah. Yeah. This E goes back to laryngeal. It's pretty obvious, right? This goes back to H. Goes back to H. Yeah. Just like in Sanskrit, you have set and anit. Yeah. So this is set root, right? Okay. So let's check some example. Yeah. I think the first one is pretty popular, right? The first one is called dake, I mean point out, show, right? And you have you have actually in Greek and also in Latin and also in Avestan like this. Yeah. So you have basically in the most important Indo-European languages, right? So let's probably analyze it. So the first one, the S, first one, the s-Aorist. So the root is called dake, right? So in order to build the s-Aorist, you need a, so this is how we, let's go back to the formula. So in order to build a root s-Aorist, you need a you need a lengthened, right? De, right? A, and then with the S. Yeah. So you need a lengthened grade, and then, I mean singular. So lengthened grade, so I put it here. So I put it here. So this is singular, right? Singular active, sorry, singular active. And then versus all others. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so we need a and then we plus s. Yeah. So this is actually not that difficult, right? So Goto has put it here, right? So this is actually pretty clear, right? Okay. Yes. Yeah. So let's check, for example, probably the Greek form. So the Greek form, you need an augment, right? And then you need a dake, yeah? And then you need an s, right? So this is for the singular, right? So you have e and de x, right? And for the first person singular, you need an m, right? So for this is actually for the first person singular, ending is m, right? Yeah, okay. So this is augment, and then this is root, and this is s morpheme, and then this is ending. Okay, and then how can we get this? And then how? And what is the result? So air is the same, and lengthened air plus e becomes a short e. So a becomes a. So this is a specific sound law. If you're interested, you can check it. It's called Osthoff's law. But you can't remember it, it's okay, yeah. Let's probably check it. This is a sound change. Oh, sorry. I think it's long vowel shortened when followed by a resonant, right? Yeah. So you have like, yes, you have. So according to this law, long vowels shorten when followed by a resonant. So resonant means m, in, ye, or the w. So this is a specific sound law. But if you don't remember it, it's okay. Yeah, I just want to show you that this is a sound change. Yeah, and then s, right, and then m becomes a vowel, right? So and becomes r in Greek. So this is result in Greek. Sorry. Yeah. So x becomes x, right? Yeah. So this is edexa. Yeah. Okay. And then what is the result in Latin? It's a little bit tricky in Latin. Probably I can also explain this. So in Latin, the augment is lost. There's no augment in Latin, but this remains. Yeah. So still, we have. Wait a minute. So this is actually the Proto-Indo-European form. Proto-Indo-European form should look like this. Yeah, this is Proto-Indo-European form. But in Latin, there are several changes. First, the reduplication is lost. And then the second change is, of course, the Osthoff law. And Osthoff's law applies to Proto-Indo-European. So already in Proto-Indo-European time, we have e, right? Okay, and then this is Euro secondary ending, right? This is rural. So this is rural secondary ending. But in Latin, as I explained, in Latin, perfect. So this is actually Latin perfect. Dixie is actually perfect. So actually Latin perfect comes from PIE perfect plus aorist. Yeah. Okay. So therefore, in Latin, they use a perfect ending for the aorist. Okay. So what is a perfect ending in Latin? So italic with perfect ending. So perfect ending is H2, H2A. Probably, I hope you have some idea of this ending, right? And then they will use a E after this. So this is a form in Latin. So what is the result of he, laryngeal 2? What is the result of laryngeal 2A? It is R, right? So it is actually I, yeah. And then this A is monophthonized. Monophthone. I don't know how to write it. Just it becomes a monophthone. It becomes a simple vowel, not diphthong. Yeah, monophthonized. Yeah, okay. So this is A, and then it becomes a E, right? A long E, right? And this is ks, and ks is written x, the X, yeah. This alphabet comes from the Greek alphabet originally, Western Greek alphabet. Yes, so in Western Greek alphabet, originally it is h, it is kai, yeah. In Western Greek alphabet, the pronunciation is actually ks, yeah. Okay. But in Eastern Greek, Eastern Greek alphabet, the pronunciation is kh, yeah. Is a kh, yeah. Okay, so this is difference. And then this I again, like A, it becomes an E. So this is a reason why we have in Latin Dixie. Okay. I hope you can understand this. It's a little bit complicated, but they all go back to the same form. They all go back to this form, A Dixon. Yeah. Okay. And then the Avestan form, it's just a simplified. It is the second person singular, and you can have it like this. Yeah. Okay, so this is actually the s-Aorist. And I'm not going to talk about all. I think first s-Aorist is enough, and then the is-Aorist, as I have shown you. Wait a minute. Yes, so the is-Aorist, you can see is-Aorist. For example, Arkanisham comes from the root come. And this come means have pleasure and wish. It is actually a set root, as we can see in the Sanskrit dictionary. Okay, so let's check the root here. You can see, so this root is a set root because it has an E, it has an upper script, right? It has upper script E, so it means that it is a set root. So set root means that it has a laryngeal. Although the Indo-European origin of the root is not very clear, but there are some kind of hypotheses. Okay, but keep in mind this is-Aorist go back to, as I have explained, the s-Aorist from PIES Aorist, yeah, to set root. Yeah. So it is s-Aorist originally, but to the set root. Okay, and the sish is again a secondary build. So like surplus ish. Yeah. So the sish, sorry. So the sish is just like surplus ish. So it is really secondary. It's not Proto-Indo-European. Okay. Okay. So this is basically everything for the Aorist. And before we move on, probably we can have a question, yeah, before we make a stop. Yeah. So there's a root. There's a verb called lego, right? So lego you have it here, yeah. Lego means how do you say that? Yeah, lego means rule or guide, right? Manage, direct, right? So Latin. So this is a Latin root called lego, right? Yeah, lego. And the question is, what is aorist? Or what is the perfect of lego? Of course, you already have the answer here, but I still want to ask you. Yeah. So answer one, Lexi, right? Answer two, Lexi. Three, Legi. Four, Legi. Yeah. So let's make a stop, and during the pause, you can think about it and tell me the answer. What is the perfect of Lego? Yeah. Okay. Okay. Let's make a short break. Okay.哦，我把那个视频停止一下，不好意思。Okay, stop recording. 看这个问题。Okay, so the question is, what is the perfect of Lego? And I have already shown you the dictionary. So so Lego, Lexi, Electrum, Lecere. So the second one must be correct. And as I have already shown you, also in the dictionary, you would find this root. So the root is called chrek, with a palatal sound. It's called chrek, right? And it's called gerade richten, ausstrecken, means stretch yourself and to be straight, right? Okay. And then the aorist form, you have it like Latin lexi, richtet, lenken, to lead, to guide, right? So this one must be correct, right? But is this question finished? No. There's also a second perfect called regi, but in some compound verbs, like, check this. It's not right. It's not written here. So probably we can. Check the book by Michael Weiss. It's better, yeah. So let's check the book by Michael Weiss, a chapter about perfect, and then yes. So this is actually there's also a very important class of perfect called lengthened grade perfects. And then you find it like rego called regi, and rego called regi, and edo called edi. Yeah. So you would lengthen. So the original form is called reg, right? And then in order to build a perfect, you need to lengthen the root. Yeah. To make it a long reg. And this, you also find it in Old High German. You also in Germanic. Yeah. In Germanic roots, as we can probably see, I can show you the result in Germanic. So this is actually a table of ablaut alternation in strong verbs of Germanic roots, Germanic verbs. In Germanic, there are basically 6 or 7. The 7th is about reduplicated. So the 6, the first one is pretty regular, but this one is a little bit strange. This is called, so there are actually 4 ablaut, right? Or not 4 ablaut, 4 forms. The first one is infinitive, called like Betan bite, right? Betan bite. This is Gothic, Betan bite, English bite. And the second one is preterite or past preterite singular. And the second one is preterite plural. The fourth one is the preterite participle. So just like in Latin, there are actually 4, how to say that? 4 forms, right? Like, let's just put this. So first one is infinitive. The second one is preterite singular. And then the preterite plural. The fourth one is preterite participle. Okay. And then you can see there's a special class called eich, and this this symbol goes back actually to the Proto-Indo-European. There's a special class, so I put it here. So class 4, you have here a lengthened grade. For the preterite perfect, there's a lengthened grade A, and here it is pretty. This is R, but it goes back to O. So just like the perfect. So the perfect usually have an O grade, right? But in Germanic, there's a special preterite in lengthened E grade, and this is also the case in Tocharian, also called lengthened A in preterite, lengthened A in preterite in Germanic, italic, Tocharian. Yeah. And why do we have this lengthened A? You also find the explanation in Michael Weiss. So originally, this is actually the old imperfect of Naten presence. So this is actually goes back to Naten presence. So Naten present tells you, this is Naten present is actually root present with a special upload. Namely, singular A grade, plural A short A grade. So this is actually the Latin aorist. Okay, so keep it in mind in Proto-Indo-European, at least in these three classes, and this actually Canton language, right? This is Canton, yeah. So actually in Germanic, Italic, and Tocharian, we have a lengthened preterite. We have a lengthened A preterite in Germanic, Italic, and Tocharian. And this is preserved in like Regi and Regi and another Regi, yeah. And this is actually the examples, right? And this goes back to the Latin present. And Latin present, so does anyone know? So this means rule, rule, right? So can anyone tell me the Sanskrit correspondence of this root, lego? Or you can write the noun or the verb if you prefer. What is the Sanskrit cognate of 梵语当中和它同源的是一个什么词？这个词学过梵语基础梵语的人肯定都知道的。Yes, yeah. So it is cognate with Sanskrit aja. Yeah. And the Sanskrit aja, there's also a root called raj. Yeah. And the Sanskrit root raj has a present. And can anyone tell me what kind of present of raj? You can just guess. I already give you the answer. Yeah. So what is the present of Raj? It is exactly the Latin present. Yeah. So Raj has a Latin present. So what is the result of Raj? It's actually called Raj T. Yeah. Raj T. Yeah. But Raj T is not the correct form. It is actually Raj T. Yeah. So it is actually Rashti, yeah, Rashti, called Hebrews. Okay, so this is actually the explanation for the Aorist and also a little bit other languages. Now let's move finally to the Rigveda reading. Okay, as I have promised a long time ago, we are going to read the Russian translation today. So we can just briefly review the Sanskrit passage. So Tuvam no akne varunasya vidvan, devasya hero ava yasi sishtach, yajishto vachnitamach, shoshu chano, vishva dveshamsi pra mukti asmat. So you, nominative, and then Agni, vocative, you, Agni, Vidvan, the knowing one, or because you know, this comes from Vid, this is a perfect participle. You have known, and because you have known, because you know, yeah. And this is also a special root, not that special. I mean, this is some kind of how to say that, a linguistic phenomena behind this root, but we are not going to talk about today. We can talk about next time. Yeah. It's also connected with Germanic languages. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So knowing, the knowing one, the Jamieson translated as the knowing one. But Goto, translated as kind of a clause, because you know. And then what is the root? What is the verb? The verb is this one. Yasi sishtach means this is a precative. A precative. Yeah, this is a precative. Yeah, because means a strong will, a strong wish. So we hope that you can, you could kind of divert or get rid of the anger, hero, of Varuna, Varunasya. Varunasya, he's a god, so Devasya Varunasya. Ava is a preverb to this root, ya. So the root originally means bitten, beg, 请求，就是用中文讲的话，就是你啊，火神，希望你呢能够把瓦鲁纳神的愤怒带走，或者是祈求走，恳求走，大概这样。Okay, and then the second part, the best sacrificer from Yaj plus Ishtar. Ishtar is a superlative suffix, the best someone. And Yaj means sacrifice, yeah, right. The best sacrificer, and Tama is again the superlative suffix, 就是表示最高级，就是然后Vahni means carriage, drawer, or a conveyor, 就是 yeah, conveyor, the best conveyor, Vahni. And Shoshu channel means a blaze, glowing, 燃烧的，就是这是一个intensive, with reduplication. This is actually intensive. With reduplication. So actually, in English, you can put an adverb like constantly blazing, right? Okay, and then Vishva Dvesams cause all the angers, or all the hostilities, 就所有的敌意。Mumukti comes from the root much, yeah, much or moch means ablösen or befreien, free, or yeah, release, right? Yeah, release. And it comes from perfect. It's a perfect imperative. So it's perfect imperative, yeah. So release all the anger from us. 就是把所有的愤怒都带走。Okay, now let's check the Russian translation. My Russian pronunciation is not not that good, so I'm not going to read. So I'm not going to read the whole sentence, but I can read the single words. So means to vam. So I can put it here. So this is a Russian translation. So let's check the Russian translation. Okay, so means to vam. Sorry, means to vam. So that's pretty simple, right? Okay, and Agni. This is Agni, right? So this is Agni, right? You all know that this is Agni. And then you put an or, it means that this is vocative. And then kak means as, yeah. So you can also see in Russian translation, he just, how to say that? He translates this Vidvam as someone who knows, right? 就作为啦，对吧？就是和英语不太一样。对，就其实大家可以比较这几种不同的翻译，就可以发现，就这种翻译之间还是有细微的差别的。对 Okay, and then Snatok means the knowing one from Znati. Yeah, Zna. Actually, I put it here. Zna. Znatok. So this is actually a norma agentis. So this means against, means the dual. Dual, yeah. 就是这个后缀表示行为者的意思。The one who acts, the one who behaves. And this zna is cognate with Sanskrit jinya. Yeah. This is pretty simple, right? Zna is jinya, right? Okay, to know, right? Okay, and then atvrati is actually to release, to get away, yeah. To placate, to how to say that, placate. I don't know how to put it into 消除或者是大概这样 divert 或者 kind of divert like this, yeah. And this has actually two parts. The first one is at, and at is a preposition, means out of something or away from, away from. Better, yeah. So at, yeah. So at, and this at, as in Old Church Slavonic, you can also check this. So there's a note here. Wait a minute. Yeah. So at vrati, at is in Old Church Slavonic is written like. So in Old Church Slavonic, it's otu, yeah, otu, yeah, and means away from, yeah, and again, and so on. And we also have this preposition in Litau, in Lithuanian, and so on. And then the second one, vrati, this is actually imperative. And vrati in Russian is called, wait a minute. Oh, it cannot be bigger, yeah. Okay, so in Russian it's called vratitie, and this is actually, I read it like this, so vratie, right? And this is cognate with Sanskrit vart, yeah. So you can see the similarity, right? So vart means kind of a turn, right? So like turn or turn away to change the direction, right? So also divert, yeah, also divert. Okay, vratie and vart, okay, to turn, to rotate, okay. And then let's come to, there's a very interesting word here. So this word is actually one of the most common word in Russian, called dria. And dria actually dria actually means for or because of, right? And this word, does anyone know the etymology of this dria? You probably, and dria actually has another form. We can check it in the Russian etymological dictionary. So for the Russian words, I would recommend you to use this dictionary. It's called, made by Max Wasmer, called Russisches etymologisches Wörterbuch. It actually has 3 volumes, about 2,200 pages. So for this word, we can find it, wait a minute, yeah. So dria, sorry, my mistake. Okay, so this word dria has actually another form called deria, and deria, it has actually the same form. It has the same meaning, sorry. You can also check the deria. On deria, you can find it here. okay. Yeah, here. So this Didia actually have a variant form called Dedia, and Dedia again means because of, yeah. And they all are connected. Let's check it if we have the explanation here. So this is the explanation, and I can make it a little bit bigger. Yeah. So the word Didia also have a cognate in Litauish. In Lithuanian is called Die. When Die has, and also Lettish. Lettish is moment. 拉脱维亚怎么用英语讲 ？I forgot it. Yeah, 拉脱维亚。Latvian, yeah, Lettish, sorry, Lettish, yeah. And then you can check it. So they all go back to the word called dieda. And dieda is the word for Arbeit, for Tat, for Din. And dieda actually goes back to the word for do. Goes back to this word. This word actually to put, but also to do. Yeah. Okay, so this is actually the Indo-European root, Arbeit. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. And then there's something very interesting. So for. So in Russian, for comes from do. Yeah. This is. Does anyone know any other language where for 为了 is comes from the word for do? This is exactly Chinese. Yeah. In Chinese, we have 为, right? 为. This is third tone, right? Fourth. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. 为. Right. And 为. This is the second, like 为, right? This is very interesting. And what is the difference of 为 and 为? If we check the, probably we can check the, yes. Wait a minute. Yes. So we can actually check the Old Chinese reconstruction by Baxter and Sagar, or Shagar. And for Wei, do, right? We have Wei here. And the Old Chinese reconstructions look like this. So we can copy it here. So for Wei, so this is actually Wei, second tone. Do, right? Yeah. So reconstruction is like this. And for the second way, for the way, right? For way, we can find the reconstruction here. So this is way, right? Okay, so I copy it here. Wait a minute. Yes. So for way, the reconstruction is like this. So the difference is actually the final S, right? Okay. So in Old Chinese, we have the S at the very end, the S final, and the S final is actually a morphological suffix in Old Chinese. So this is actually a very productive S suffix. It has several functions, and one of it is actually to make the verb into a noun or make the verb into other words. So like you have na, like yeah, bring or send in, and then you have ne, inside something. just like this one, you have way, do something, and you have way for something. So this connection is really interesting, right? Okay. Okay, so this is actually this word, didya in Sanskrit. And then let's move on. So nas is pretty simple. So nas means us, right? So we can just yeah, this is also a very this is actually a Proto-Indo-European form, nas. So actually means us, yeah. It's cognate with German uns, yeah. So High German uns, yeah. So it's cognate with uns, yeah. And then like yarasti, and yarast means the anger, right? We can also check the dictionary to make it sure, yeah. So fury or rage, right? So it means fury or anger. We will talk about it later, yeah. Okay, so this is yarast. And then boga. And boga is actually the word for God. So this is actually the word for God. Yeah. And this is now question 2. Boga, Russian boga, or Slavic boga, or bog. One is a Slavic word. Second is a long word. Yeah. So what is your choice? Yeah. It is a Slavic word. It is a long word. Yes, it is a long word, right? Yes, it is a long word. And then question 3, it is a long word, right? And from where? Question 3, from where? First, from Germanic. Second, from Italic. 3, from Indo-Iranian. 4, from Baltic. Yes, it is from Indo-Iranian. Yeah. Yes, yes. From Indo-Iranian. Like this is a word you find also in Rigveda. Let's probably check it. Yes, this is originally means something you get. Probably we can check the English dictionary. Baltic, yeah, like Lithuanian, 立陶宛语 and so on, yeah. It actually means something you get, and then from this meaning comes the like your fate, like something like this. So it actually comes from this word baga, and yes, to bog. Yeah, okay. Okay, and then this is Varuna. So this is just a Russian transliteration of the Sanskrit word. So this is actually Varuna, right? Okay. And then there are also other words. This word ruchi. This is luch and shi. Yeah, ruchi. I really can't pronounce it well. Yeah. So this word means best. Yeah. Yeah. And just like other Indo-European words for better or best, the meaning is originally not best. The meaning, we can check the etymological dictionary if you want to know. So Luchi comes from the root, moment. Yes. Yeah. So you have Ruchie here means better, right? So this goes back to Ruchitie, and Ruchitie means give, to zulassen, to allow, right? And this give and allow means zielen, treffen, because the old Church Slavonic root Ruchitie is used to translate. I make it a little bit bigger. Yeah. So this root, the Old Church Slavonic or Old Bulgarian, Alt Bulgarisch, called Luchitie, is used to translate Greek tunhano. Tunhano means to encounter or to treffen, how to say that, meet, or you achieve something, you arrive something, you reach something， 就是获得啊，那个达到什么目标啊，遇到啊，大概这样的意思。好，然后这个意思呢，然后 this word again goes back to the word to the root means to see, wonach sehen, abpassen, to see, and then to see, it's connected with the Sanskrit word Luch, yeah, Loch, yeah. So originally, the semantic difference, the semantic change is a little bit complicated, yeah. And then comes the meaning, best, the best one, yeah. Okay. And then the next one is called Jetvavatye. Jetvavatye means sacrificer, and we can check the Russian. Jetvavatye, donor or sacrificer, because if you, this is actually also agent noun, yeah. Yes, this is actually the connection of light to shine and to see, yeah. Okay, so this word also make a donation, but it's not a rural donation. It's kind of religious donation to sacrifice. Jetvavatye, yeah. Okay, and this word je, so je is actually cognate with Sanskrit gar. Sanskrit gar or jar, yeah. Set root, which means to sin, yeah. I think I can find it. This is a root called gar, or a price. To be specific, it's not a real, it's not a common thing. It's kind of praise, right? Human, ehren, like respect, yeah. Human, ehren, yeah, preisen, right? Yeah. So this je goes back to to a palatal, yeah, to, because it is a and then it becomes a je, yeah, it's palatalized, yeah. Okay. Yes, so this is and then this rushi again, and this word vasnitsa. Vasnitsa means conveyor. We can also check it here. Welcome again, yeah. Okay, and I hope you can remember welcome. Okay, yeah, that's great. Okay, vasnitsa means driver, also conveyor. So it means conveyor. And this vas or vas, yeah. Vas actually is cognate with Sanskrit. Yeah. And Sanskrit vach goes back actually to where? Yeah. So it's actually like this, yeah. So again, the in Slavic goes back to a palata sound, yeah. Okay, and in Slavic, the aspiration is lost. So there's no difference between gihir and gir, yeah. Okay, and then now let's come to, probably we can't finish it, but it's okay. Let's just talk about this word, yako. And yako actually means, I think it means, we can check it, fire probably, or not a blazing, right? Bright, yeah, okay. Yaki, that means bright, right? So this actually means, bright. And this, this yaka or yaki, yeah, original form yak. This is actually neuter, yeah, okay. And this word is actually cognate with the word we have already. Wait, where's that word? This word. This word. This word means fury, right? I hope you still remember this. So I copy this word. So these two words are actually cognate. So this is rage or fury, right? Fury. So they all contain a year, this sound, year, right? And this year, yarasti. And this year, if I write this like ya, right? So this this letter in Russian goes back to ya, this sound. And this ya, there's a song change. Let's talk about it. So there's a song change in Slavic, Proto-Indo-European and R, and R, so Proto-Indo-European and R goes back to Slavic, becomes Slavic O, becomes Slavic O, and PIE O, R becomes Slavic. Yeah. Okay, so this is a special sound change in Slavic. I just need to change one word. So this is, you can see the difference. The Slavic and Germanic is just the opposite. In Slavic, all are short becomes O. All are long becomes R. And in Germanic, it's just the opposite. All are short. So you can see this kind of a, how do you say that? Comes all. Okay, and then in Germanic, it's actually the opposite. Okay, so, and then let's probably talk about this word. So yar, if we have a yar here, so Indo-European, it should be year, right? So if we talk about Indo-European language, it should be year, right? And then last u and o, yeah, right? And can anyone tell me what is year in Greek? So PIE, year, So PIE year. What about the Greek? Right, correct. So what should the word in Greek look like? So in Greek, it should look like, if we have all here, yeah. So in Greek, it should like Zoros, right? Zoros, yeah, right? So what is meaning of Zoros? Let's check it. Means sheer. Sorry. Okay. Sorry. Zoros. Yeah. So this is actually the Greek word, means pure, sheer. Take a look. What is it means pure or sheer, right? But it is a description of the wine without water. So wine without water is really strong. It's really, how to say that? It's really strong, right? 就是非常的辛辣 spicy or not really spicy, but kind of very strong or very yeah, I don't know how to describe this. Yeah. So this is sheer, this is pure, and 烈. Yeah. So this yeah 就是烈酒的意思，就是yes. So this is actually stark. Yeah, strong, very strong. Yeah. So these two words, zoros, Greek zoros, is cognate with Russian word yaka and yarastie. Yeah. Okay. Fury, bright. Okay. Okay, so I think this is everything for today. We can make a brief summary of what we have done today. So today we talked about wait a minute. So today we talk about aorist. So we first start from the Proto-Indo-European aorist. In Proto-Indo-European, we actually have three kinds of aorist. First, the root aorist, asymmetric. And it is actually the most popular formation. It is also the simplest form. There are 409 roots having root aorist. The second one is s-Aorist, also called sigmatic aorist. There are 177 roots attesting s-Aorist. And for s-Aorist, the how to say that, the structure is the root with s and then with ending. So the root has a special upload. It's for singular, it's lengthened air. For plural and others, it's short air. The third class is reduplicated, semantic, but very limited, only 18 roots. So we have first reduplication, and then the root in 0 grade, and then plus a semantic vowel with ending. Okay. Yes, I think, yeah. But some roots are not attested. I mean, our materials are pretty limited, right? Yeah. OK， 有些词它丢失了嘛，有一些形式丢失了，我们没有。对，大概这样。你觉得不够吗？就是你是想全把它，你是想，你是觉得太少了吗？哦，这样，好吧，你想把它背下来还是比较难的，对吧？就是600多个，你要不下次让你背背看怎么样？下次让你背背看。Okay, and then we move on to the Sanskrit. So in Sanskrit, we can use grammar by Kotor. So in Sanskrit, we also have the root aorist asymmetric. this, put, like stum, right? And then we also have another new class called root aorist semantic. We have examples like, wait a minute. So we have examples like vit, we have avidam, yeah, and I also mentioned that it can be derived from the asematic, yeah, from the first person singular, right? Okay, and then the third one, reduplicated aorist, but there's some innovation in Sanskrit, like krut, called chukrut. The reduplication is not a, but u or e, right? And the inherited reduplicated aorist is this one, avocha. You can check the detailed process later. And it is also preserved in Greek. It's called epe, yeah, right? And then the fourth class is s-Aorist. Sorry. But in Sanskrit, we have four different classes. The first one is the simple s-Aorist, but the second one is ish, and as a sish and sa. And ish is just the s-Aorist for the roots with laryngeal, for the set root. Yeah, okay. And then we analyzed the forms. You can also check it later. And we also discussed the another special aorist or perfect in Latin with a lengthened air grade. And this lengthened air grade, we also find it in Germanic, in Italic, and also in Tocharian, in Canton languages. Yeah, and this lengthened air grade aorist or perfect goes back actually to the Naten present. And the Naten present is characteristic is singular active with lengthened air grade. And plural is, or other cases, is short air grade. This is Naten present. You have to keep it in mind. It is very important. You have to keep it in mind. Naten present. Okay. Okay, Canton language. Okay, Canton. Canton family. 你不要把它认为是100家庭啊。Okay, so Canton language. Canton languages. Okay, and then we read the Russian translation and talk about some interesting etymological connections and so on. So if you want to, so I just skipped the summary of this part. You can check it later, like the boga or bog is Indo-Iranian loanword. Originally means to get the share, and someone who distributes the share, who is a god. And then we talk about the best word in Russian, rushi, and also the word called yako, yaka, and yarasti. It's cognate with Greek zoros, and so on. And also the song change. This is also very important, but we will talk about later during our Slavic and Germanic classes. So if you can't remember this, now it's okay. We're going to mention this several times later. Okay, so this is everything for today, and thank you for your attention until now. And so have a nice weekend, and enjoy the rest of the evening. Enjoy the rest of the day. And we will see, so some of you, we will see each other on Monday, right? So Monday we have a Tocharian class. Okay, so have a nice weekend. 不客气，不客气。OK，大家再见。OK，拜拜。